They say if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. All the haters Earl's got, he's like a bag of Orville Redenbacher. Have you noticed whenever you tell somebody the truth, they get mad? They can't stand it. They don't want to hear it. They want to keep living in the lie. That's the way society is. And everybody with any sense can see Errol Spence is the truth. But people don't want to accept it because it breaks their mold, it breaks their narrative. They don't want to accept that this man right here is special, talented, blessed. And it all started because Floyd Mayweather endorsed him as the truth. The hate that Floyd Mayweather had spilled over. So many people wanted Floyd to lose and he just wouldn't do it. All he kept doing is winning. And then when he put Earl in the spotlight and said, this is the new truth, this is the new me, this is the new best thing, people wanted to see him fall from day one. But all he kept doing is toppling over opponents, toppling over obstacles, and he keeps winning. The man went head to head with a Ferrari in the pavement in a car crash and came out on top. This man right here is anointed. He is the chosen one. And his quick rise to stardom and fame and how people connect with him, that even makes the old heads even hate, because Earl started making that big money early, while other people went their whole careers trying to get the money that Earl makes in a single Mikey Garcia fight. And people starting to hate that. They hate to see another man getting money and doing better than them. And all Earl keep doing is stacking that bread. People keep supporting Earl and they want to see him win. And that makes the hate even more. People are jealous and envy of people that win. You got retired boxers, fans, and haters counting Errol Spence's pockets, hoping he don't get the type of money. Talk about boycotting, but he still topples numbers. He still sells out the crowd. He still sells out Dallas Stadium. He still does pay-per-view numbers that's astronomical. And they can't stand it. Some people will not make the type of money that Earl makes. And the fact that Earl is one of the 4 biggest fights. If you fighting Deontay Wilder, Canelo Alvarez, Tank Davis, or Errol Spence, then you don't hit the boxing sweepstakes. Those are the big checks. And they hate that right there. They can't stand to see this brother doing good. But guess what? All the hate does is motivate him and fuels him. And let's get into this right here, why they hate him. Take a second to hit the like, share, and subscribe button, because this is a full-length movie right here that I made for y'all right here of why they hate Spence. We're going to delve down into why everybody really hates Spence. Why the fans, everybody. Thank you. You get Jaws out there. Now you think it's safe. No, Jaws ain't the epitome of greatness. There's something out there much bigger. Yes, you got it. And here comes Superbud. Come through and snatch it up. All is well in the world, right? Or wrong. You forget the Megalodon. Bud might have caught Jaws in the ichthyosaur, but he ain't ready for the Megalodon. And that's the big Spence, the Megalodon. Matter of fact, he ain't even a Megalodon. Errol Spence is the biggest. How can you measure what ain't been measured before? Captain Ahab reaching out fishing. You gonna catch something that you ain't mean to catch right there, because you can't catch the uncatchable, the Leviathan. Earl, the true Spence, strap season, man down, smoking on Bud tour. Welcome to Upper Echelon. This is why they hate the truth. Errol Spence. I would like to welcome you to the Upper Echelon. I want you to be honest and don't you lie. Don't you think of lying. Be for real. You're not a Bud Crawford fan. You just hate Spence, right?
The truth. You can't handle the truth.
Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top.
Thoughts on the big fight next weekend, Spence and Garcia? Mikey's moving up like you did it to fight Hagler. Can he win that fight? How do you see that fight happening?
Yes. Ask him. I guarantee you he'll tell you he will win that fight. What I found was I moved up in weight sometimes. There was a deficit. The guys are stronger, bigger, they hit harder, and what have you. And when I did that, I realized that I should maintain, not try to be heavy, but maintain my speed. Because speed is what nullifies everything. But that's a good question. Thanks.
What kind of do you have to? So you have to adjust your style when you move up.
Not necessarily adjust your style. Just be the fighter that you are, and utilize that. But for me, speed has always been essential. Speed has always been that magic thing, that's the most valuable asset, and I used it to my advantage.
In the end, who do you pick to win the fight, though, if you were to pick a winner?
I don't ever kind of pick the winner of a fight, especially in this platform here. If you're talking about me, if you say, Ray, who's gonna win a fight between you and so and so, I'll say me.
Okay, I got to see this.
I'll be disappointed if it's not.
Mikey Spence coming up in 2 weeks.
Mikey.
Why?
You know what? Because he's Mikey. You know, that's simple. It speaks for itself. You know, they say boxing is dead. Boxing is not dead. With all these incredible matchups, these fights coming up, about to happen.
Wilder, Johnson.
Wait, what? Who say what? Who smacked who? You pick what? You say who? Come on, sugar. You are all-time great. First ballot Hall of Famer. I know you have an eye for boxing. Picking Mikey over Spence? Come on now, sugar. What's the problem? What's the hold up? What are you trying to prove, sugar? But see, I ain't gonna come at you full tilt like that, sugar, because you know you kind of respectful with it, even though you're being disrespectful. See, you disrespecting Spence respectful, but it kills me because fighters like Mikey Garcia or Canelo Alvarez, you know, the Mexican fan base are one of the greatest fan bases in all of boxing. I have to give a shout out to the Latin Americans and y'all fan base because y'all ride or die with y'all fighters. Y'all go out there, y'all support them from rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Y'all fighters could be going against the abominable snowman. Y'all gonna be right there like, yes, he can do it. He can do it. Y'all have faith. Y'all ride hard behind y'all fighters, and I respect that. I envy that, to be honest. Just like British fighters. Man, you can't say nothing bad about a British fighter without having 1,000 of his countrymen coming behind y'all. Yes, English people do not play about their fighters. At one time, you get your head cut off about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Lennox Lewis, or Superman Joe Kawasaki. And what make the English great, it ain't about the skin color. They do not care which color their skin or their boxer is. It's the fact that they're from England and they're gonna root with him until the wheels fall off. But us as Americans, we don't do that. And it's sad to see because Spence, he laced up them gloves and them shoes for us. He fought in the Olympics for us. He had USA on his back. And he went out there, faced controversy, got robbed, got cheated for us, and still kept persevering and cheering and going through and doing what he had to do, digging in through all the grit and the grime, all the lonely nights of putting in that hard work, because boxing is not an easy thing to do. It is a very lonely thing. You have to be strong mentally as well as physically, and you got to put in that work, because if you don't put in that work, when it's time to show, it's going to show whether you put in enough or you didn't put in enough. And he got cheated, got the silver medal though, which is great because, you know, it's one step down. Everybody knew there was controversy, but then he comes back. He puts on a great show for us, a great performance. He fights who he says he's gonna fight. He sits there and cleans up a whole side of the street, and every step of the way, he's getting ostracized, and they're picking against him, and they're doubting his display of his skills. Like, I don't get it. Like, come on now, you sit there, Sugar Ray, you sit there talking about it's all about speed. Okay, no, Sugar Ray, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's about timing. It is about timing. You should know about it because Marvin Hagler started to time you, all your great speed. It was nullified because he caught your timing down. Just like Zab Superman Judah was caught by Costa Zoo because he got his timing down. And then the fighter that you're actually picking, Mikey Garcia, because it's Mikey. He's not a speedy fighter. He's down for timing. He's a counterpuncher. So you just went against what you just said, like you just contradicted yourself. You pick Mikey, then you talking about speed is everything, but Mikey's a timing fighter. He's not a speedy fighter. He results off timing. He's not faster than Spence in nobody's America. Then you say because it's Mike. Okay, I picked Earl because he's the truth. Yes, Mikey is great, don't get me wrong, a 4-division champion. First ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, he came up to 140. Yes, he's beaten Adrian Broner and Robert Easter. Yes. But this is Errol Spence. This is a whole different monster. A whole different beast. This is Thanos, the World Crusher. So how could you pick against Earl? Next time somebody asks you, don't say because it might be like it's Earl. Because it is Earl, because he is the truth. That's all you say, Sugar? Come on now, baby. You can do better than that, Sugar. Come on now. And he idolized you growing up. You was one of his favorite fighters.
That fight, hopefully we could see it, but networks, entities are preventing that fight from happening.
Well, you know, we fought each other, the Hearns, the Haggards, the Wayans, and what have you. We just didn't say we were the best, we fought the best. All those names you called off, Crawford, it's just, those guys are so gifted, they're just so talented. That has to happen. I would be disappointed if those fights did take place.
Thank you very much.
Wait, last time?
Yeah, and the boxing fans, we was disappointed that you didn't give us Hagler versus Leonard Part 2 because that was a very controversial fight. And you know it, Sugar. You're not deaf. You're not blind. You seen the headlines. You heard the naysayers. You heard what people said. It clearly showed Hagler was doing the more damage, doing the more meaningful shots while you was doing that little shoe shine. Like you was sitting there doing little flurries at the end, which fight, and most of them was getting hit off the gloves and on the arms. But, you know, y'all had a referee in the pocket. You know, it's boxing. A lot of times it has that. It's always for the bigger name they do that. But you wouldn't even rematch the man. You ran, ducked, and hide and wouldn't want to give that man a rematch. And the same month that he retires, you come back. So you retired because you didn't want to do a rematch. So as soon as he retired, you come back and get you another fight in. Now if that ain't a duck, then it's a cock picking goose. That's what I say.
I mean, I made big leaps, jumps. That is quite a significant step up. If they feel they can win, go for it.
How do you see that fight playing out? Who do you think would win that fight?
You know, because of the size, it's just more than the size, and it's more than the strength.
I have to go with Canelo.
It's more than Canelo's size and power versus Spence. Well, what else more is it? Because Spence has the faster hands and the faster feet. And I think Spence arguably throws harder shots than Canelo, if you want to be honest about it. Plus, Spence went in the doghouse with Floyd Mayweather, blacked his eye, and got kicked out. And we seen what happened when Canelo went with Floyd Mayweather. 12 rounds couldn't even hurt the man. A complete wash, dry, folded up, and put back in the closet. That's what happened. As we seen in the past with Erislandy Lara and Floyd Mayweather, Spence has the style to nullify Canelo, just like Bivol. Spence has a monster jab. His jab is like a power shot. So Canelo will be sitting at the end of Spence's jab all night. And if he's not lucky, Spence is going to beat them innards up. And Spence has a high motor. Canelo cannot fight 12 rounds at Spence's pace. Spence will break him down quickly. And he would not be able to handle the onslaught or the quick foot speed or the hand speed of a young Errol Spence. That's why he ducked him for $55 million. Press 1. Shout out to Champ Side, because we're talking boxing, please. Yes, boxing. Spence is a boxer, a banger, a counterer, and a demolisher, all wrapped into one.
Son Crawford.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, guys.
That's my
Why do you keep picking against him? Like, why? What has he done to you? Like, you should see that your past predictions was wrong, and you should eat crow, and you should get this man his just dues. And like people saying that he doesn't have many tricks in the trick bag, what they fail to realize is, like I said before, he is an Olympian. So you have to box to be in the Olympics because it's a point system. And for him to get second place, he had to score and not be scored upon. It is a point system. What people don't remember is when he was fighting Lamont Peterson, he actually switched into orthodox. But I guess he remembered that the eyes are on me, so he switched back. What you don't realize is Spence hasn't even popped open his tool bag. I don't see a person at 147 that's gonna make him pop open his tool bag because arguably nobody at 147 really will hurt him. Like Spence say, you will see his best characteristics at 154, 160, where he get up with people that hits harder. And the fights are that much more competitive. More bigger men where Earl just can't stand in front of them and duke it out. Where he gonna have to be on his bike like Jermell Charlo does sometimes. How he can box or he can get it in. How he can box or bang. See, that's the way EJ would fight if somebody made him, but they haven't made him do that yet. But Sugar, maybe you just mad about something or trying to relive your past glory, but that's just like a man that got that afro that got a patch missing and want to hold on to it. Just let this shit go, man. Let it go. And you should embrace the new generation instead of hating on them. But don't get me wrong, you is an all-time great, but you've been proven wrong a few times in boxing. And it's catching up with you. Kind of like when you thought you could come back and still be the same old you and win and fought Rico Suave, my man, Macho Camacho Jr., and he gave you the business. He showed you it's time for you to sit your ass down. And see, that's what I'm telling you now. If you ain't got something Earl worthy to say, don't say nothing at all because you keep getting proved the same over and over. And why don't you just take a chance to sit back and look and see the skills that the man is displaying? Each fight, it's a different array of qualities each time. If you take the chance to sit there and look instead of hate on the man's greatness when he's sitting there a humble king. He's humble. That's why I don't understand where all this hate comes from, because he's such a likable person. I see if he was like my man Floyd, TBE, greatest of all time. He played the bad guy because he knew people were paid to see him lose. But Earl has not once been the bad guy in his career. If anything, he's a national hero for going across the seas and fighting for us. Just because a person boxing don't mean that they're not fighting. They're fighting for our country as well, for the honor and glory of America. And what we need to do as Americans is stand behind our proud warrior like they do in every other country. They stand behind their warrior. And that's what we need to do. Stand behind our warrior when they go out there every time they lace them up for us, because they're fighting for us. And see, until we realize that, we're going to be divided, a nation divided. I don't care if it's black, white, Puerto Rican, or Spanish. We're all Americans, and we should all be cheering for this man. So let us give this man his just dues and treat him like a hero in which he is for our country, for America. We should all stand behind him and give thanks and the perseverance that he showed for us. Man down. Over 41 years ago, you and Hearns participated in one of the greatest fights in sports history, boxing history, world history. And now we've come to the eve of the same such thing as Errol the True Spence gets ready to go against Crawford. Both of them are undefeated. Both of them are elite. Both of them are in their prime and they're ready. Somebody old must go. And we don't need y'all putting down one or the other. Let's talk about each one of their skills and saying what the other can't do and won't do. Because both of these are very capable fighters. And people want to downplay Earl, mostly the Hall of Famers, but Earl can do everything that Terrence can do. He has every knife in the butcher's block. Now, not being biased, but this is an uphill battle for Crawford because he has to go against a high-octane style that is relentless, and it comes with heavy devastation. Not saying that he can't do it, but it's damn near impossible. So if he does it, I'll call him Tom Cruise because it's mission impossible. Roy, I think that you're a hater. Roy on top.
More because I haven't seen Spence have to fight a guy his size that's gonna really make him fight yet. He been outboxing everybody he fought so far. Mikey wasn't his size, so we expected that. The guy who sees Kell Brook, he had some broken orbital from Triple G, so I don't think he really was the same either. So we haven't seen not his fault. He just ain't fought that person yet. But now he's about to fight that person that gives us a measure stick as to where he really is. After I see what he does with Sean, then I probably give you a little bit better of a breakdown on how I see fight.
All right, come on now, Roy. You say Spence need to fight somebody his size? He's a fucking welterweight. Everybody that he fights is his size of welterweight. Unlike Crawford moving through the divisions and fighting smaller people like Gamboa, who is a 122-pounder coming up to fight a 130-pounder, and using Sean Porter as a measuring stick. Didn't Kell Brook beat Sean Porter? Why you couldn't use Lamont Peterson or Ocampo? Or Mikey Garcia, who y'all said was pound for pound great? See, I hate when people say something and then try to backtrack, because you was on the Mikey Garcia train as well, Roy, with Sugar Ray Leonard. But now you talking about he need to fight somebody, but you're not saying nothing about Bud, who's moving through fighting people like Gamboa, who dared to be great, jumping up 2 weight divisions, or John Molina Jr. or Hank Lundy. Come on now, you talking about you need to see somebody fight somebody's size, then bring that to Crawford as well. You gotta have the same energy when you come into both fighters, Roy. That's being unbiased.
I ain't saying nothing about how big it is until it's signed, because I've been looking for it for so damn long that I'm tired of even thinking about it. You know, it's like it's been the biggest fight that needs to be made for the sport of boxing for the last 3 years.
Why so long then?
I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I mean, I'm gonna let Tony answer that. He understands. He like talk about that topic a little bit more than I do, so I'm gonna let him talk about it. But it's like when you play that political game.
Let's talk about it, Roy. You got Terrence Crawford here saying there's a lot of puppets and he's gonna be the puppet master right now. Errol Spence has been signed his part of the contract months ago. We still haven't got Terrence Crawford to sign his. He's also trying to price himself out because, see, he knows Errol Spence will do whatever it takes to become undisputed. And he knows that his time is almost short, so he's trying to get a farewell fight, a retirement check. Usually, Bud is with all the smoke, but right now, we see no smoke. Crawford has had 2 times to make this fight. On his way to welterweight, Spence offered him the fight, but he took the Jeff Horn fight. After the Porter fight, Spence offered him 60-40. He didn't want that fight. So, Roy, who's the one at fault? Come on now, let's be biased or unbiased. Which one you gonna be, Roy? Let's keep it all the way real, Roy. Because when Earl was handling his side of the business like he said, I'm gonna clean up this side of the street. Crawford was coming at him. As soon as Earl cleaned the street up, he hollered at Crawford. Now Crawford, he's silent. He trying to make smoke and mirrors, hollering at the Charlos and everything. Don't worry about the Charlos. Worry about this smoke in front of you. Worry about already this the biggest payday of your career. But you sit here stalling out the damn fight. If you knew that you could beat this man, then why don't you go ahead and take the money and take the belts then? Because you know you can't go against that bone-crushing, body-snatching, soul-touching power of Errol the True Spence. That's what it is. And Roy, you need to start calling it for what it is and stop being on the side a hater.
Over Earl right now. And they said, well, why you say that? So because Earl really hadn't fought anybody that we could really mention to as well as Crawford, and Crawford had fought people. I wasn't saying that it's a guarantee that Crawford will beat Earl, no. But I was saying basically still, which I said the other day, we haven't seen Earl against the competition we saw Crawford against yet. So it's hard to judge and say Earl got the advantage. We ain't really seen, I mean, in the gym they seem good, but we haven't.
I've seen the real.
I'm saying, the gym you see, but I haven't.
Right.
So as an observer, I can't say, oh, what y'all saw different. I'm telling you. Plus, we all know that when the lights come on, stuff happens different.
So you say you judging them off of they fighting, who they seen, right? Well, let's look at these last 8 opponents then, all right? You got Errol Spence going over to England and beating the champion, Kell Brook. You got Crawford beating Julius Ndongo. Look at Julius Ndongo. He's done lost 6 straight from a knockout. Who is he? Then you got Lamont Peterson, 2-weight division champion Lamont Peterson, who is arguably a dog. You got Jeff Horn, who was gifted a robbery on the Manny Pacquiao fight. Then you got undefeated Ocampo, an undefeated rising prospect with over 20 wins and 0 losses, versus Jose Benavidez Jr., who had just got shot. One leg, walking around the ring, couldn't move laterally, but he gave you problems with the jab all night, Crawford. Roy, did you not see him keep Crawford at bay with the stick? It took Crawford to the 12th round to stop a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Now, how could you explain that about the levels? Then you got Mikey Garcia, the 4th division champion, arguably top 3 pound for pound. And then you got Amir Khan, a punch-drunk, washed-out former shell of himself, who sat there and got his face knocked out more times than a punching bag or a punching buddy. You hear me? You can't compare that. Then you got Showtime Sean Porter at his glory with a belt with 6 months of training camp versus Mean Machine. Who? Mean Machine. That's right, Mean Machine. A man who arguably put Terrence Crawford on his ass in the fight. Have we seen Earl on his ass? Not even when Ugas got a free 2-piece off of him did Earl touch the damn canvas. And then we got Danny Garcia, arguably one of the most vicious counter-punchers with the no-look pass that he gave Amir Khan, got washed by Errol Spence, while he had a washed-out version of Kell Brook, a man who fighting career has been over. Then you got Yordenis Ugas, who was coming off a career-defining win over legendary 8th division champion Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, who arguably beat Sean Porter in their title match versus Sean Porter from Bud Crawford. Now you say you comparing who they fought. Man, if you look at Earl, it look like Rocky Road, and if you look at Crawford, it look like the bunny slope. So how are you gonna sit there and compare the two? It's like apples and oranges, Roy. You're looking like a liar, Roy. You're looking like a hater. You got a few future Hall of Famers on Errol Spence's list. I only see that one in Porter on Crawford's list. So where's the measuring stick?
To break the fight down, man, to me, Errol Spence is what you call a pressure cooker. You know, he's gonna come out there on medium, and as the fight goes, he's gonna turn up a little bit hotter, a little bit hotter, a little bit hotter. How does Terrence deal with it? Does Terrence go out and put water on that fire early and calm it down? Does Terrence wait and rise his game with that temperature rise? Or does Terrence go out and just kind of smother the whole fire? That's where the fight will come at. What style of fight does Terrence choose to use? Because he got 3 different ways he can deal with it, but we know Earl is. And we know Earl coming. Earl is going to be Earl without question. How do you
You're right, Roy. Earl will be Earl, which has professional tactical aggression. You call him a pressure cooker. Yeah, he's a pressure cooker, all right. And when he turn up the pressure, that meat gonna get tender. That Crawford will get tender. And if Crawford try to turn up the heat, then the heat inside the pot will boil that much longer, that much quicker, that much hotter. You keep saying that he has different ways to put it out. Okay, if you try to smother a grease fire, you're gonna burn yourself. And if you throw water on it, you make the blaze even bigger, Roy. Listen to what you're saying. You keep saying that he has all these different styles. What is Spence? Chopped liver? You forget Spence was an Olympian, a silver medalist who sparred against Floyd Mayweather in the doghouse. Gave him a black eye. And Floyd Mayweather arguably is the best defensive fighter of all time. All time. So yes, he is more defensively sound than Crawford. Plus, I'm gonna tell you like this. Spence is that damn dude, dog. And I don't know why you hate because you see his greatness and you think it's gonna diminish your legacy. And what you should do is embrace the fact that you're able to see a young king sit here and box himself out instead of hating like the people on the outside. We already got all them against us, Roy. Not you two. E2 Brute. Ain't that what Caesar said, Roy?
That's still a different animal, isn't it?
It is a different animal, but like Tony just said, when you got a skill to do it all, and you can do whatever necessary to kind of diffuse that fire, that's why we all lean toward Crawford in the beginning. Because we know that he can do, we've seen him do several different things already. He has different facets of this game that we've already seen on display. You know, Errol has one real facet. It's good, but just that one. To make him go back like Ugas did earlier, it could be problematic for him. If you would make him shift sometime before he punches, it could be problematic for him. So like
I don't know if your eyesight is fading in your old age, Roy, but everybody keeps saying Ugas hurt Spence. He didn't even hurt Spence when he got the 2 free hits. And you keep saying Spence does one thing good. No, he does that thing great. But that's not the only thing that he does. See, y'all keep thinking he's just some come-forward pressure fighter. Okay, he can box off the back foot. 1, he can jab. You know what? Jab. The key to the game is a jab. The same way Kell Brooks jabbed Terrence Crawford in 2 rounds and had his eye swollen. And you think Errol Spence jab is not going to swell that eye? No, it might break that damn eye. And you talking about one thing that he can do, back him up in pressure. You back Spence up, he can fight off the back foot. He is not just a single category type of person. He can do it all well, but he hasn't had the person to make him do it well. And I say like this, like I said in the other part, if I'm running the ball down the damn field and I'm getting 10 yards of carry, we're going to keep feeding the beast. You know why? Because why do other things? If it ain't broke, then don't fix it. You know, if you can't stop it, why should I stop it? And Errol is going to surprise a lot more people, and he's going to shut you haters up thinking that he only got one style. Okay, you can say Terrence Crawford got many styles and all the tools in the book. So we go to a demolition site. So Terrence Crawford done brought his whole tool bag. He's ready to tear the wall down with all these different sledgehammers and tools. But my boy Errol Spence pulled up in a goddamn backhoe. You say what? He pulled up in a damn backhoe and he just knocked the building down with one scratch. Yes, he drove over it with a backhoe. So all them damn tools in that bag didn't mean a damn thing. You keep your bag, you keep all your tools, because this backhoe is gonna run right over you, just like Spence is gonna run right over Crawford. And all your skills, take it and leave it.
There's more wrinkles to the game of Terrence Crawford, but I do think that Spence being the natural welterweight combined with being excellent in what he does, which one of the things he does very well is not just the pressure, but it's an insane body attack. It's an insane body attack, which, if executed correctly in any fight, takes away your best attributes, because the body attack debilitates you. And then no matter what you do well, which is fighting backwards or forwards, fighting lefty or righty, all those things you do so well, when you've been attacked to the body so well, it will break you. And I just can't get out of my mind that Crawford, no matter how much success he's had, is still a natural.
Thank you, Paulie. Spence will break you. Did you hear what he said? Spence will break him, because that body attack is too crucial. This is coming from another boxer, Paulie, who sees it. He sees Spence on occasion. He's watched Spence break people. What you don't realize is, if you tenderize meat long enough, you can take a piece of rump roast and make it softer than filet mignon, people. This is what I'm saying. All the pounding. This is blunt force trauma. A human body isn't made to take this type of punishment, this type of damage. And Errol comes with a relentless assault. It will snatch your soul. It will snatch your breath. And it will snatch your will to fight. Just like Ugas came in there, hyped and ready to take on the world as a champion, ready to do it for his people of Cuba. This man done faced death numerous occasions coming back to this country, and that couldn't stop him. But the power and the speed and skill and the tenacity of Errol, the true Spence, broke that man. And they knew they weren't gonna be to knock that man out or take that win. They knew they had to break his body. His mind was intact, but his body was broken. Ribs broken, face broken, eye sock broken. Kell Brook, broken. Lamont Peterson, broken. Come on, people. Garcia's career, broken. Ocampo, where is Ocampo? When you fight Errol Spence, you lose. Boxing life. Errol, you can't fight another fight right behind him because he does internal damage. He comes out there and he embraces the art. It's gladiators, like the Roman Colosseum. They fight to the death. It's just that the fighters nowadays isn't willing to die for what they believe in. But Errol told you it's kill or be killed. Boxing is not a sport. It's a fight to the death. It's a fight for your life. It's a fight of nutrition. It's one person will against the next and see who trained the best and who's gonna come out on top. Who is number one? Who is the alpha male? It's the one sport that you can't play. You just gotta fight with it. And Spence, he's gonna put it all on the line. He's done faced death. Crawford as well. But Spence is willing to face it before you beat him. And if Crawford ain't willing to go all out, then his body's gonna go out before then. Roy, you one of the greatest pure athletes to ever lace them up. But that's all you was a pure athlete. You wasn't technically sound. You relied on athleticism. So instead of technical skill, so Father Time is undefeated. He got a silver in 1988 when he was robbed. You should have some compassion for Spence because he also was robbed in the Olympics. And in 2003, you was the only fighter to go from junior middleweight all the way up to heavyweight champion to win the fight. After that fight, your athleticism started to fade. You snuck by and won a fight against Antonio Tarver, but then was knocked out in the rematch May 15, 2004. Then you fought Glenn Johnson September 25th of 04 and was knocked out. Then your third fight with Tarver was October 1st, 2005. You lost a unanimous decision. As your athleticism waned, you tried to get an edge. You tried to enhance. You popped dirty, Roy. You popped dirty for taking steroids. So you lost your skills, your physical attribute, and then you start popping enhancements. But talking about Spence, right? Is that why you mad? Because you a dirty PED user and he talks about how he's a clean boxer. Is that the reason, Roy? Like I said, you was one of the greatest athletes to ever lace him up. You the only person that played a full professional basketball game and come back and win a fight the same night. You had a God-gifted talent, but you just didn't have the skills to pay the bill. But Errol the True Spence does have them, Roy. But see, he's gonna go a long way whether you hate or not. But you should look inside yourself and see that this man is a brilliant fighter. And you know you being biased because if you look at it, Crawford ain't fought nothing to the extent of Spence. But hey, Roy, you know what it is? Y'all must have forgot. Tarver is a hater. Yeah, Tarver.
View how people.
And Tarver, man, he really has a thing for Errol Spence. Like, I've never seen the type of hate that him and James Toney has for Errol Spence. And Tarver, if y'all was back in the same day, Errol would whoop you. Errol would beat your tail, man. Your claim to fame was catching Roy after his muscles was messed up from draining from a heavyweight. But the way that you obsess about Errol Spence, man, you need to get a hobby right there, man. Yes, he's done made over 10 times the money that you've made in your career, even your Rocky money. But come on, man, don't hate. Enjoy.
Training and things like that. But if you could tell me who you're leaning towards in a Crawford and Spence fight.
Crawford reminds me of me, bro. So I'm pretty sure you know how I feel about that. Ain't nobody else gonna say that, but I'ma say it. The way he approached that shit, he don't see none of them guys. He don't care nothing about none of them guys. He got that real dog in him. That's why I say he reminds me of me. You feel me? And I just think the man can do so much in the ring. I see what Charlo can do. I see what what's the other guy? Spence can do. I see what Spence can do. But Spence hasn't shown me that he can make a lot of adjustment. When I look at Spence style, I see the same thing, aggressive, boxer. But I ain't never seen him boxing going back. I ain't never seen him use this counter punching ability. I ain't never seen him block, make a motherfucker miss, and make a motherfucker pay. It's levels to this, but these guys, I mean, you know, when you looking at it through my eye, this is a different type of understanding of the game. You feel me? So I can critique those guys. I don't care who they is. I can critique their ass.
Do you think it'll be a stoppage?
I don't know. I'm just telling you, I believe Crawford has ability to do more things in the ring. I've seen him do more things in the ring. I've seen him fight ambidextrous. I've seen him knock motherfuckers out with both hands. I've seen him fight. I've seen him box. I've seen him counterpunch. I've seen him do a lot of things in the ring. When I see Errol Spence fights, I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of the same thing, the same approach, the way he knocked my boy out in England. Same thing, aggressive, body pop, same way he fighting, bro. And when you fight a guy like Bud Crawford, you're gonna have to have a lot of different things to your game. That's all I feel. That's how I feel. That's my take.
First off, Tarver, with all due respect, funny how people say that before they say something disrespectful, but I have to say it. You sound like a damn fool. Talking about Bud reminds you of you. I'm a fan of boxing, not just the boxers. You and Bud are night and day. Skills Bud has, you could never hope to possess. His elusiveness, speed, his IQ, his switching, his stopping power, his ring dominance. Now, you have been dominated. You're flat-footed while he is fleet-footed, and you have a style more abbreviated to Spence when he chooses to bulldoze an opponent who can't hurt him. I said an opponent that can't hurt him, meaning you're not as skilled as when Errol is using a calculated aggression. You and Roy are a couple of has-beens hating, while Paulie really thinks Rocky Balboa was a real fighter. Talking about you had real dog in you. I must have missed those fights, cause Eddie Harding, B-Hop, and Awesome Chad Dawson fights are kidding. You were a 3-1 favorite versus rising middleweight B-Hop. He outstrengthed you, outpunched you, outdogged you, a middleweight. Yeah, you beat a weight drained Roy Jones, but you might have popped dirty for that one because you have a history of popping dirty. You've popped dirty not once, not twice, but 3 times for banned substances. Spence is a very efficient and economical puncher because he doesn't waste shots. All of them hurt. All of them are for a purpose. All of them for the good of the queen, like an ant in a farm. He also is an economical and efficient boxer because he doesn't waste movements. He is precise when cutting off the ring. Up close, he knows how to throw, dip, pop, roll, counter, and get up out of there before the opponent has a chance. You say Spence can't adjust. He was an Olympian, so he has to be good at Olympic-style scoring. Hit and don't get hit. He put away his come forward style to outbox Mikey, who everyone said boxes too well for Spence. He didn't use an aggression, so it would be no excuse. He boxed beautifully, off the back foot, changing levels, in and out. You forget, Earl has one of the most explosive jabs in the game, and he controlled Mikey perfectly with it. You say no dog? The man went 12 rounds fighting Sean Porter at his own game. Blow for blow, like 2 rams in the heat, clashing heads. No dog? Thrown from a Ferrari. Only broken bone was in his mouth, and he was back in the ring in less than 18 months. Fighting the top-level former 2-division world champion, Danny Garcia, without strength and conditioning, without a warm-up. Damn it, Danny was the warm-up, and he got washed by Spence, boxing and controlled him with a superb jab. So you right, Spence doesn't have much dog in him. He's a hot damn werewolf. And he has grown and learned each fight. He has shown more wrinkles than you ever have. He put it all together after each fight. He's downloading and calculating data. And the end result was Uranus Ugas. Bud done let EJ get too much experience now. Should have caught him earlier when he was still partying and not taking boxing seriously. But time's up. Thanos has finally got the final stone to the Infinity Gauntlet. And it's nothing no one can do to stop this man. Tarver say you got a keen eye. And you say you never seen Spence counter. Hell, he countered Sean Porter and dropped him on the counter. And Spence has the highest punch to hit ratio in welterweight. And everybody want to say that come forward style is so basic. The thing is, it's not basic. He just mastered it. He mastered his craft. And when you do something so great and they can't stop it, why switch it up? That's kind of like Seattle throwing the ball on the 1 yard line with beast mode in the backfield. See, they lost the Super Bowl with it. Spence is going to do what he does until someone stops him. And then you will see the best Spence when he start using his other tools. But one thing we can say about Spence, he won't never pop dirty. He won't never be a statistic for using steroids. Mr. Antonio Tarver, Mr. Banned for anabolic testosterone. Mr. You done failed more than 2 tests. You sitting out here popping dirty and then talking about another man. You must have thought we forgot this. Like your co-host Roy Jones say, y'all must have forgot. And don't worry, I'm gonna get on Roy too, because I got a video with his name on it too, because yeah, Roy, you pop dirty too, and you're hating on Spence as well too. So you're going into why we hate Spence file as well. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Might be the next video. But he does what you didn't do without taking the stuff that you take. And with the better record, he has a better legacy. Him and Bud's legacy is better than yours. And I'm going to show you diversity. Look at the way B-Hop put you down. And see, this is why you're really mad. Because you see yourself in Earl. And you see yourself in Bud. But you see yourself on the other end of these vicious and malicious shots. You having flashbacks of what happened to your career. Which your career really was lackluster for real. They had great hopes for you, but your biggest achievement and your only achievement was beating Roy Jones. And who can comfortably say that you did that without performance enhancers? Because they say once a cheat, always a cheat. And those are only the times you got caught. What about the times that you didn't get caught? And they say, take the needle out your eye before you try to take one out the next man. So before you start trying to criticize and badmouth Earl, why don't we just say this is going to be a great fight and we can't wait to see who wins, instead of trying to badmouth the other one? Because hating on Earl only makes him stronger. And don't throw rocks when you live in a glass house, Mr. Tarver. Because when you throw rocks living in a glass house, it can all shatter and it all come down. And I do tell you this, I bet if you and Earl was the same size, or even if you was a little bit bigger than Earl, I bet he'll wash you. B-Hop washed you. You couldn't stand up to the punch placement and the damn aggression and the dominance of Errol Spence. Spence is kind of like a spider or a snake. Not saying literally he's like a spider or a snake, but like figuratively. Like, people have an unknown fear and they just hate spiders and snakes. But when they don't realize that spiders and snakes kills all these pests and rodents and take away things so we can have a more enriched life. So we hate them for no reason when all they doing is helping us. Spence is showing us greatness, but all we doing is hating on him. And this man is humble with it. And he just keeps his chest down low and he just keeps chucking on through and he just keeps going through. Just like Bo Mack sat there and told Spence, we streamed your fight. Spence turned around and said, well, I bought Terrence's fight because he supports his black people. And he's not giving up hope on us, but what we need to do is stand behind our fighters. And I'm not saying Bud is bad or Bud is great, because Bud is also a great fighter. I like them both. But I'm just explaining what I see, and I'm talking about the hate that's out there. Bud's not getting this type of hate because people are hating on Spence because they're scared of what they see in him. And the only way that they're going to appreciate Spence is after he loses. Because when a fighter loses, that's when people feel like it's okay to like them because now they showed a flaw. And we need to get away from that. That's some Willie Lynch syndrome stuff right there. But like, share, and subscribe, please. I'm going to keep these hot contents coming for y'all every day. And one thing I like to say, I appreciate everybody that comes by the channel, everybody that likes, share, and subscribe. And We're gonna make a platform out here where we have a group chat. I'm working on that now. I just got started, but we're gonna have a big forum where we can all just sit back and talk sports like real grown-ups. I appreciate everybody. Bless you all.
Handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
I just want to know, like, what do you think was your toughest fight?
I'm gonna say I had two tough fights. My first big fight, exposure fight, was against Marcus Sosa on ESPN on January 23rd, 1991. It was tough. He was undefeated. I was undefeated. But you know what? I had to show him that I was the real deal. Because I said once again, I was born in as an opponent. They thought I was gonna lay over him, but it was a different thing. I dropped him 3 times and won to a lot of decisions. And my second tough fight was against the man himself. I don't know if you hear yet, the body snatcher, Mike McCallum. He was tough. I mean, real tough. Mastermind, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I went to work on it. I had to show him I was the best. It was supposed to be for your invitation fight, but WWE pulled out the last minute. But still, I still want Mike on my name, on my resume. I got it.
You fought in a lot of different weight classes.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to adapt as you moved up in weight to the punching power?
No. You know what? The more that wouldn't hit me flush. Nobody changed on the flush. The only time I hit flush one time was in the back of the head. That was his Sam Peter, the heavyweight. I don't get hit flush. After that, you watch all my fights. I have never got hit flush. Except that one time in the back of the head by Sam Peter.
First off, Mr. James Toney, with all due respect, I'm about to disrespect you respectfully because you started off capping. First off, you said you only had 2 tough fights, which was Sosa and Mike McCallum. Said you whooped them both. I seem to remember you having a fight with that bad man named Roy Jones Jr. when y'all both was undefeated. Let's talk about that undefeated fight. When you tried to mimic him and you got caught in the first round. Then he beat you up real bad. Then let's talk about this other tough fight you had. The one that was your biggest win in your career. It was against David Tabiri. Everyone thought you lost the fight. It was so controversial that United States Senator William Roth of Delaware called for an investigation on possible corruption in sports. Come on now. I guess you forgot about those, but I'm gonna remind you of it. Because Roy Jones must have knocked something out of your brain when he hit you with that leaping left hook that you tried to mimic and you tried to be bad, but you was also great at the middleweight. But with your undisciplined style, you had to go to different weight classes because you couldn't control your weight because you liked to eat, buddy.
But y'all finally decided to give me the print. You know what I'm saying? Take on Terrence Crawford, the beat.
There may be a fight with Errol Spence, and I think you fans will understand this comment. I think Crawford's the best fighter in the world. I think Spence might be the best welterweight because he's naturally a bigger man, which makes for a great fight. When they fight, who do you like?
Size don't mean nothing. I'm a living proof of that. I'm for everybody I'm sure to everybody fight. Beat that ass. Ask Sam Peter.
So if they fight, who do you like? Spence Crawford?
Everybody know who won that fight. It's like Errol Spence.
Okay.
Errol Spence, he'll be looking at me knocked up within 6 rounds.
Questions for James Toney?
Don't get me wrong, Errol Spence is a tremendous fighter, but he's just not on Crawford's level yet.
Yeah.
Come on, Smitty, you know better than this.
You talking about Sam Peter and size don't mean nothing, you beat everybody ass. Now I know you got brain damage because if I do remember, you lost to Sam Peter, not once, but twice. You also lost to Dennis Ledoux, Lucas Brown, Jason Gavin, Charles Ellis. You got a draw against Hassan Rahman. You lost against Drake Tadazi. Montel Griffin beat you, and then he beat you again. So you talking about you beat everybody, and you talking about ask Sam Peters. Sam Peters beat you not once, but twice. So what are we asking him about? How easy it was to bait you? Is that what we asking about? And then when you beat John Ruiz for the WBA, but you failed the post-fight testing, positive for anabolic steroid stanzanol. The fight was declared a no contest. They took the win from you and banned you from boxing for 90 days and gave John Ruiz his belt back. So what are we talking about here? Then you cap it on Spence, talking about he's not that great and he's not on Crawford level. But when you look at it, Spence did more than you have and his record look better. Is that why you hate him? Spence done made more in his career than you have made in your entire career already. Spence is looking more spectacular and more fantastic than you. He's beaten better fighters than you giving him credit for. Crawford is a beast, yes. I'm not taking nothing away from Crawford. But if you sit there talking about Crawford's resume, you got to look at Spence's resume because he has 4 future Hall of Famers on his resume. And the 2 names that Crawford does have on his resume have been washed by Spence before Crawford fought him. So where are you coming from? It's obviously that you have brain damage. You took too many shots to the head, so you're not understanding what's really going on here. About you haven't been hit flush. Something has happened, Mr. Tony, because you can't even get your speech patterns correct. That comes from extensive brain damage, blunt force trauma. You've been hit more than you thought you have. And them fights was not as close as you thought they was. And in your mind, you must have won the fights that you really lost. Because you're hollering Sam Peter like he knew. And all I know is Sam Peter whooped that tail twice. And you was a juicer. And you're hating on a man that's out here trying to make a way for his family and his future, who's nothing but a shining example. If you're going to say anything about it, say Spence and Crawford both have great resumes, but Spence is just a tad better if you want to be honest about it. And Spence is the bigger draw if we want to be honest about it. And Spence has more accredited fighters if we want to be honest about it. But you're like the old other people that's old that seen Spence come out with Floyd Mayweather's blessing. And so y'all didn't get to see Floyd take a loss, so you're hoping that Spence will take a loss. I bet as soon as Spence beats Crawford, you're going to be a Boots fan next. That's what y'all do. All these people are not really Crawford fans. They're Spence detractors. Y'all just want to see Spence go down. Y'all want to see Spence lose. And the bad thing about it, he's sticking 2 middle fingers up and laughing at y'all each time he wins. But if you feel so sure, bet against him. Bet your puny ass check against him because I know he making more cheddar than you. And you sitting up there, you a has-been, you're washed up, and you can't even remember the fights that you lost. But it's okay, Jones, because you was good at your time. Borderline great, but you lost a lot of tough fights there, buddy. You lost a lot of fights you should have won. And I bet when it's all said and done, Spence's record and his achievements will achieve and surpass everything that you've done in the ring. Matter of fact, the man has a holiday name behind him. What do you got? All you got is a podcast that's not even yours where you sitting up there spouting out a whole bunch of nothing. This is your 15 minutes of fame. Now go on back in the recesses because we didn't know where you was at before this came out. Really, when you sit back and look at it, the reason a lot of people hate Spence is because you've never really seen Spence hurt or vulnerable. With Terrence Crawford, we seen him hurt and vulnerable in the Gamboa fight. We seen him hurt and vulnerable in the Mean Machine fight. We seen him hurt and vulnerable in David Benavidez fight. We seen him go through adversity in fights. We seen Terrence Crawford mix it in and have to go toe-to-toe and dog. We've seen Errol do it, but Errol is like a machine. It's like you can't stop him, like he absorbs it and just keeps coming through. It's like he's indestructible. And when people see an indestructible force like that, it makes them scared because it's like he's some sort of Superman. In the way that Errol, he keeps his cool, he keeps his calm and composure. See, you done seen Terrence snap and get mad and just show his other side, but you haven't seen that from Errol. Errol is a man's man who can keep his composure and keep his feelings in check like a real man's supposed to. And Errol will unleash that on you when you get in the ring with him. Errol is not easy to be rattled. And Errol, he takes everything and just keeps coming. He absorbs your best shots and keep going. And a lot of people picture themselves versus Errol and picture the fact that if they was in that situation, Errol would swallow them up as well. See, they like you more once you're vulnerable. People used to hate and ridicule Deontay Wilder. Then Teddy Atlas said he loves Deontay Wilder now. He can enjoy Deontay after Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury. Now, Teddy Atlas said that Deontay's a more complete fighter. See, once you lose, they can embrace you. But until you lose, they can't embrace you because they hate your perfection. Perfection scares them. It makes them feel less of a man. It ridicules them. They can't stand it. They can't stand to see perfection. That's why they always trying to get our top people to knock each other off. Like Terrence Crawford, he's the spokesman for ESPN and them, so you know he's their guy. But Errol Spence is PBC, and they hate Al Heyman because Al Heyman came in and he made it where the athletes are getting money now, where you just can't sit there and cheat the athletes like they used to do for years and years in boxing. How the promoters used to get 400% while the boxer used to get 30%. No, it's a new day and a new age, and they sit back looking at all that money that Earl making that they could have made back in the day and off the top. But Al Heyman has turned this around, and so the fact that they hate Al Heyman and the fact that they hate Floyd Mayweather, and Earl is endorsed by both, that makes him get compound hate. Then he doesn't show vulnerability, and he keeps his composure. You don't see him rattled. You don't see him. He's impervious to danger. The man went through a Ferrari, got back out in less than 2 years, and still knocking and dropping and popping people. Not taking tune-up fights. That makes it worse. He's coming in fighting future Hall of Famers as tune-ups. That scares people. They want to see him vulnerable. They want to see him fall. But that's not going to happen because Earl has got a new lease on boxing and he's taking it serious again. The Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, and Sean Porter fight, Errol Spence had got tired with boxing, bored with boxing. He said 40% of himself can beat these characters. So he neglected strength and conditioning, didn't do it. And he came in there and fought these people just off of endurance training, just off stamina. But now he's back to it and he's giving it 100%. And he's bulldozing and destroying people. So Terrence Crawford is about to get destroyed. So they can hate on Spence, and after this fight, just find another reason to hate Spence because Earl is just the epitome and the bane of their existence. Until he loses or until he shows himself really get hurt, they're not really going to embrace the true nature and the greatness of this man.